Oh my. Oh my.
You are now tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show.
Yo, you know what it is and what it do. You're officially tuned into the Revolution Radio Show on 102.3 FM, KCAA in the Inland Empire, worldwide on the NBC Radio Network and on the iHeartRadio app. As always, I am your man, J Love, a.k.a. Uncle Jiggy. I'm usually joined by the statesman, Ferran. He's somewhere. Look, he just joined the neighborhood. Blow!
What's good?
How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm coolio.
I guess so, with your white beater on.
Yeah, I feel a little confident today, so I'm like,
Okay.
I go before we go with no shirt.
As long as you feeling confident.
No, I'm gonna leave it all.
It's actually Monday.
Yes,
It's a little inside joke, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little inside joke. He didn't know what day it was.
because I had a show last night.
Okay. How did it go, by the way?
It was actually good.
That's good. What'd you talk about last night?
Oh, I broke down my different segments so the new listeners, because I'm on 8 o'clock now. So I just broke down each one of my segments so they can get a feel of when they become a guest, what to expect on the life of a series, in my military segment, and my sports segment, and my sickle cell trait awareness segment, and my wordplay segment, and my soundtrack to your life segment. So I just broke it down so they can get a feel of what to expect Sunday nights at 8 p.m. KCA Radio.
Okay, coolio, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an interesting weekend. I hope you had a good. Oh, you said. Whew.
I'm like, do I remember? I'm trying to see, what did I do this weekend? Oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay. I don't know if you want to share. The way you said that was like, yeah, I remember, but I'm not telling y'all.
Oh, no. I take, I've been connected to Dr. Sebi's family.
Oh, okay. Word.
So I take their supplements.
Okay.
And the sea moss and the pearl moss and the colonies and the oxyhemo. So I had a meeting Saturday.
Okay.
With some connections there. So.
Oh yeah, we might have to talk about that one of these days, man. Dr. Sebi was definitely iconic, to say the very least.
Legit.
To say the very least. Gone way too soon.
Yes.
Depending on what report you want to believe.
Exactly.
Depending on which report you want to believe, it was either...
We know better.
He either died in a normal fashion or a very abnormal fashion.
Yes.
So, so it's crazy. But, yeah.
I saw you on stage.
Yeah, it was doing some, doing my thing with Miss Angie Rose. I was on stage, the old man up there doing my little hype man duties or whatever. So it was cool. I want to jump into the story because I love throwing you off immediately in the beginning of the show. God. So I don't know if are you a fan of American Idol?
Not anymore. I used to be.
Okay. Well, during the 2018 season, there was a contestant named Ron, and I hope I say his last name correctly, but I'm reading Boltongez, Bultongez, Boltongez. Anyways, whatever. He made it pretty far during the 2018 season. Well, he's facing multiple counts of sex with a minor.
Oh,
yeah. So law enforcement say the singer and one-time Idol sensation was arrested in Grapevine, Texas, when he turned himself in on July 15th.
Wow.
We're still gathering details of the allegations, but according to the Tarrant County DA's charging documents, Boltongez is charged with 4 counts of sexual penetration of a minor under the age of 17 on 4 occasions.
How old is he?
If I had to guess, he's at least 26, 27, if I had to guess.
Oh.
Yeah, and so in the docs, prosecutors say the alleged incidents occurred between December 2020 and February 2021. Boltongez was released from custody a couple of days after his arrest, once he posted a $50,000 bond, and we're told he has not made his initial court appearances yet to face the charges. So, yeah. Go ahead. I want to hear your takes on this one, sir.
No, hey, we cannot forget that they are regular old people, even though they on TV. Don't forget.
Yeah.
We are regular FCC laws people. So I'm not, you can't, are you surprised?
No, I mean, nothing shocks me anymore, man. No. I mean, to be honest with you, nothing shocks me. I think here's the only part that for me, and I get it to some degree. Like a lot of times, dudes in their, and again, I don't know his exact age, and I was looking, it didn't say, but he looks to be in his mid to late 20s, right?
Mm-hmm. But that's 3 years ago.
No, this happened 2020.
No, I'm saying, but he was in 2018. Oh, but it happened in 2020 though.
Yeah, 2020.
But he was
December
American
2020 through
okay.
through February 2021 was the incidents.
Yeah, I tried.
I want to say this with some couth. There is enough girls 18 and over, like the bare minimum, like 18.
Yes,
that are willing to put your life on the line. Yes. Like I know there's some fast little girls who may look older, may act older, right? I know that exists.
And we don't know what she told him. She could have lied about her age.
Yeah, and I know that exists, right? Yeah. But especially in this day and age where it's a lot easier to find things about people, you can't, especially if not, because again, they're regular people, but if you've been in the limelight, everything's going to come out on you louder.
Yes.
Right. And it doesn't say it doesn't say that it wasn't consensual. Right. So it was apparently consensual. It was just that she was young.
Right.
So at least it wasn't like a sexual assault type situation. But I'm just saying, you gotta be smarter with your decisions, right? Like I'm trying to say this without being really crazy.
No, I mean, you just gotta. We don't know him. We don't know his background.
Exactly.
We don't know if that's something about him, and the music just, the fame brought it out, enhanced it to another level. Like it's hard to kind of come to a conclusion so soon without all the details. But
yeah, I just listen, young men.
Yes, for the listeners, for y'all, for the revolutionary,
listen,
the Revolution Radio listeners.
Look, I'm not y'all's daddy. You know what I mean? A lot of young dudes call me Unc. Listen to your Uncle Jicky, man. I know, you know what I'm saying? I've been young before. You know what I'm saying? I've been young before. Wow. I'm about to read something from one of our listeners. You know, I understand that sometimes we make some decisions with the wrong decision-making apparatus in our body. Right? I got a little bug in here. I'm over here. I'm not clapping.
Oh, I thought you was clapping to this. No. I thought you was clapping to emphasize your.
No, but listen,
phrases.
Y'all. Look, I know that to some degree. So listen, my point of view
just
comes
say what
from,
you got to say.
I'm just gonna say this is your uncle talking to you.
Just
listen
say
to
it. Just say
look, look at here, little boy. Look at here, little boy. I understand when you see a shorty sometime and she thick and you like, woo. I'm not even gonna hit you with the wages of sin is death. I ain't even gonna hit you with that one. Okay. Oh. I ain't even gonna hit you with the if your eye caused you to lust, you got it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna hit you with that one. I'm not that guy. But this is what I am gonna tell you. You understand? Aside from whatever my faith dictates to me, right? Like every day I try to be a better man.
Yes.
I'm not saying that I'm 100% righteous, but every day I try to get up and I try to be a better man. I like to believe that most of us do.
Practice.
Yes. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, there is no sex on the planet Earth that is worth your freedom. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't exist. right? It doesn't exist. And for you to, for a momentary pleasure, and you're even if it was 4 times, because this is what it's saying, 4 different occasions is what the docs said, right, from the DA's office. So now you just put your life, you could potentially lose upwards of, depending on how they hit you, because Texas ain't no joke. Texas is that state where when they tell you gonna do time, player, you finna do time.
All of it.
So you probably gonna lose a decade for not even 4 full days of your life. We're talking, I mean, let's keep it 100 for combined about
combined
3
hours.
I wouldn't even say 3 hours.
Oh, I was gonna say 3 hours. 4 times 3 hours.
4 times. I'm sorry, make like an hour and
90 minutes.
I'm just saying, man, like, think about it.
It's not worth it.
You go at least a decade, because sex with a minor, plus forget prison. When you get out of prison, right? That's if you're not violated in prison, because we know that in prison, people who commit these sorts of crimes tend to get preyed on by other prisoners, right?
Yep.
So there's that you got to deal with. Then you get out of prison, and for the rest of your life, you have to register as a sex offender.
Yep.
So this is literally the rest of your life. Okay. So I get it, bro. You know what I mean? I understand. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say this goes right along with what I was studying today, about character.
Yeah.
And one of the statements, one of the questions, Dr. Miles says is, before you make a decision, ask yourself, are you going to enjoy these memories?
Yeah, that's right along the line. You know what I always do, and this is why I tell people this all the time. Matter of fact, I was just having a conversation with my nephews in the car, right? And because they were asking me a bunch of questions about, God and whatever else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, let me explain something to you. It ain't about the rules, right? It really isn't. People have it twisted, like about the rules, right? And I said, I'm gonna give you a scripture, but then I'm gonna explain it to you, right? And I was like, Jesus said that all things are permissible for you, yet not are all beneficial, right? Mm-hmm. And so I said, let me explain what that means. It means God isn't gonna strike you down from heaven if you quote unquote sin. He ain't gonna send lightning and burn you up. You know what I mean? He gonna let you do what you gonna do. But you have to understand that there's things in motion, whether you believe in God or not. You ain't even got to believe in God. And understand that there are things in motion that you can't control. Yep. Science tells us that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, right? And I said, so if you partake in certain behaviors, it ain't got nothing to do with your belief system. There are things that come with it, right? And so you start to weigh things. I said, I don't weigh things on like, oh, I can't do this, or I can do this, or I can't do this because I'm a Christian and I can. It's not how I weigh it. I weigh it by, is it beneficial, right? Yeah. It's permissible. God ain't gonna strike me down. God ain't gonna like, I hate you, Jay.
You got free will in there.
Yeah, it's free will, but is it beneficial to my life? Because I want to have life and life more abundantly, meaning the best quality of life possible, right? So I do what I call watching the movie, right? I let the movie play. I watch the movie. And you know what? If I don't know how many of y'all, I'm a horror movie fan. I love horror. I'm going to say the whole word because sometimes I come out because I'm a little country. Horror movies, right? Scurry movies for a lot of y'all out there. I like them. I have a problem with them. I be yelling. I'm the wrong person to watch a movie with because I will talk the whole time. I am the stereotype. I am absolutely the stereotype. And so,
she fell down.
Here's the thing about horror movies. You can guarantee, let me break one down for you. This is your life making crazy decisions. Let's go for a weekend at the cabin. Sounds like a great idea. A weekend at the cabin. There's a lake. It's beautiful. It always starts out beautiful. And the girl got the little shorts on. You like, it's going down. But let it, soon as it gets dark, then you just hear. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, what was that? No one hears it because everybody's on some woo, right? And you don't realize your whole life about to get wrecked because you was on some. You know how this movie ends? The black guy dies. That's how it ends. I'm gonna tell you right now. Unless you're LL Cool J, and somehow LL Cool J got a clause in his contract where he don't never die in movies. I don't know how he worked that out. Just because he's LL. But my point is that when it always starts out great in the beginning. It's always amazing in the beginning. And then because even the people who survive are traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to survive the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know what I mean?
Just like, cut me in half, yo. Just cut me in half.
If I do, I want to be the dude that like was there and it was like, you know what? I just remembered I gotta go do this thing. And like I missed it. I just missed it because I happened to leave. Come on, stay. You know what though? Well, I just remembered wifey called, she said, I got to do this thing real quick. I'm going to come back later. And then I'll just be the dude to come back and find the bodies. Be like, oh my God. What? But I don't have the traumatization of seeing you ripped apart and your innards getting, that's how I want. So my point is this, ladies and gentlemen, I said all that ridiculousness to say this.
Mm-hmm.
The movie never ends well, ever.
And if it does, it's always a part 2.
And so that's what you got to look at your life as. Your life, you could either be, live according to principles that are good for your life and be in a rom-com, right? Where you're going to have some little dramas, you have some ups and downs, but at the end it works out, right? That's life with God. Life with God is like a rom-com. It's a beautiful love story. That has some dips and some curves and some misunderstandings, but at the end, like, oh, it's beautiful. Or you can live a horror movie. Okay.
I said it last week. Just because it's right doesn't make it right.
Okay, you lost me on that one. I got confused right now.
Well,
you mean just because it's okay?
Yeah, I'm saying just because.
Wait, you got
just because you got a right.
A right. There you go.
A right.
Just
just
you got a right, don't make it right.
Make it exactly. So
okay. Nika on Facebook.
Oh, she went in.
Yeah, she went in. I'm scared of this one. I don't even know. She said, just go on TikTok, type in fitness girl. You will find thousands of American female teenagers behaving like professional porn stars. It's insane. Yes.
Yes.
There's a lot of young girls who, especially young women who idolize entertainment, are sexualized very early. You see this with these little dance academies, you know what I mean? And like, I think dance is amazing. I think it's a great thing for kids to be involved in. But they sexualize them really early. And you go to these, I remember I was going to be a MC for this particular like tour, right? Of like, it's kind of like young Americans and they were doing, dance. Like, so you think we could dance. Mm-hmm. And I remember just being bothered because I saw that, they showed us a video like, hey, these are our competitions. And I'm talking little girls and they doing little moves. They twisting they hip. They doing little moves, twisting they hip. I'm like, I don't know if I could. Am I the only one? Like, I felt like,
yeah.
Am I crazy? Like, am I the only one that has like, y'all, I gotta watch this? Like, I don't gotta look right. Like, I feel
right.
It's terrible. Like, and it's crazy because like moms are like, yeah. And I'm like, you good? Yeah. You're good with your girl wearing a little bitty. How did I become the conservative prude? You know what I'm saying? Like I became the Republican.
We became adults.
Is that what it is? I don't know. Yes. It just, there's a lot of places where, and so I understand that the primal male urge, right? Just the primal urge.
That's our nature.
Yeah, and I get that, right? And I get that but you have to come, young men, and I'm harboring on this because a lot of young men get caught up with these sorts of situations.
Yeah.
And not because they're necessarily bad young men.
No.
Okay. But because, we, unfortunately, most of us have at least one time in our life. For most of us, it's a lot more than one, but we got at least one time, and every dude has at least one time in his life.
Let me hear your statement first.
Okay, that he made a decision with the wrong head that came back to kick him in the face, right? Yep. And so we have to learn, like older dudes need to tell younger dudes, no, because if it ain't this specific situation, there's 1,000 other ones that, man, is leading you away from God's best for your life. Because trust me, this ain't prison. You know what my biggest fear in life? I don't fear nothing except for two things. You ready? Two things. I fear being in a position where I wake up and I was wrong, like in a really, really bad way, maybe like this, and having to face a bunch of people that like, ooh, like, you know, your family, like certain, you know what I mean? Like I fear being in a situation where I did something so stupid that there's no way to like spin it or like, ooh, you know what? I was,
oh yeah. Those kind of movies.
There's no way to spin it. Like you did something like, so, but I don't have to worry about that because I don't try to put myself in stupid situations. But you know what I do fear? I fear going to prison and then they close the door and my cellmate is 6'8", 360 pounds, and he thinks I'm cute. It's a fear of mine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sensitive, cuz like, look, I know I could be gangster, but there's just something about a man who can manhandle you.
Yeah.
That just it like I could already feel the tears coming. There's nothing you can do.
It doesn't settle well.
When you just know, like, ooh, I'm about to get violated. Like, and even if I try to fight him, he's just gonna knock me unconscious, and I'm just gonna wake up sore from behind. I'm just gonna wake up sore, just knowing that something's.
I think they get the picture.
They get it. They get the picture. Okay. I just need to drive this in. I'm terrified of this. Okay, that's why I don't commit crimes, because you know what I mean. So listen.
Allegedly.
Nah, hey, no. If I ever go to prison, it's gonna be for being a political prisoner, and that's a different jail for us. Put me in Guantanamo. You could, matter of fact, I will take torture over that. Because at least torture in my brain, I could be like, they tortured me for a cause. I can't be somebody's wife and just like there's no justification for that. Like, I got to dump off the
cigarettes are valuable in there.
But
cigarettes are valuable.
Could you imagine, like, hey man, look, I can't get you cigarettes, but I got some top ramen, some ramen noodles. Is that cool? Nah.
So what do you want the parents to tell their children? What can the parent tell?
So here's the thing. Just be honest, man. Look, talk to your young men. Yeah, talk to these young men and just tell them, like, look, you can't make decisions based off of something that literally can affect the rest of your life. You know, and we talked about this even with the Bill Cosby thing. Like, is it consensual if a girl is inebriated? Because that's the argument now. The argument is, can it be consent if she is under the influence of alcohol or another substance? Right. And some people argue, there's people who argue on the side of, well, if she made the decision to drink herself and take the things herself, then she's, you know, because this is what we didn't get to this. So it's good we talk. Judge Joe Brown, right, had this whole dialogue where he said he defended Bill Cosby. And he said that Bill Cosby didn't do anything wrong. The only thing that maybe, you know, was the infidelity, right? So him cheating. But outside of infidelity, it was consensual because these women willingly took the drugs, willingly took the alcohol, willingly went over to his place. And most of them, and especially the girl for which this specific case that he went to jail on, she actually dated him for 3 years after the alleged incident. So Judge Joe Brown is saying you can't send Bill Cosby to jail for that because he can't be responsible that she, as an adult, willingly took substances, right? So he's saying, no, she was a groupie. She made a decision, whatever.
That's other people at its core.
Right. But post Me Too era, right? This whole Me Too era, they're saying the new argument is if someone is, again, under the influence of alcohol or some other substance, then automatically, even if they're telling you yes, it's a no. Right. And even I know there's new apps, there's actual apps that they call like consent apps, where like if you go on a date with someone, they literally have to, like, you take out your phone and you like, yo, I need you to sign here, initial here, that like this is cool. And then you take a video and like whatever Vanessa.
No way.
Yes, dude. I'm telling you, these millennials.
Bro, it ain't that serious, bro. It ain't that. You know what? I want to. Let's have this conversation real quick and short. Sex education, right? I'm not gonna say nothing wrong. You ain't gotta put your hand on the button, Eric. We good. Sex education, right? When you look at it, most men don't learn it from their parents. So we learn it from these fantasies, like movies and books.
Yes, lies.
TVs, lies.
And our friends.
And friends.
But I say this all the time.
Trial and error. Like, that doesn't work, though.
And here's the thing. This is why I'm talking about this to people. Like, why are you talking about? Because look, for all of y'all listening right now, most of you have either a son, a brother, whatever. You have a male in your life. Yep. Whether you're male or female, you got another male in your life, a younger male. And if you're a male, you know this to be true. Yep. All of us. Okay, let's speak facts. We learned, this is where we learned about sex. Okay, we learned it from our homeboy. They were lying. Yep. We learned it from porn. That's a lie. Right? Like you were saying, regular movies. We know that ain't true. Nope. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the magazine, which falls into porn. You know what I mean? And like literally, that's where we learned about sex from, right? And so we have all of these misinformational cues going on, right? And then we go out into society and all of this stupidity that we've been taught, right? Think about the things that you were taught growing up. I literally was taught, from one of the older homies, was like, yo, when a girl says no, it's because she don't want to feel like a hoe. So just be cool and just keep pushing. Like eventually, you know what I'm saying? She just don't want to feel like a hoe. Right. So you just got to just be persistent, be cool about it, but just be like, okay. But then just keep, just a little nudging a little bit, nudge a little bit more, nudge. She'll give in. Don't even trip. You know what I mean? Because if she really didn't want to be there, she would leave. That's what the homie told me. Right? I literally believe that was the truth. Okay. So you learn and then in your little development, right, as a young man, yep. Not all the time, but then guess what? You score, bang, and you're like, oh, it's true, because she was saying no.
You got evidence now,
and then eventually, whoa, right? So now you're going, oh, it was true.
That's
right.
How it works.
And so, but no one ever sits down with you as a young man and says, listen. That same girl might have traumas later because she really didn't want to, but she felt pressured or she felt, whatever the case is, right? And you go, well, no, she didn't, because she didn't tell me she felt pressured.
Right.
Well, because she doesn't know how to communicate that to you. Exactly. Wait, but I'm supposed to, huh? Right? Did she get quiet? Right? Things that I, as a grown man, wait, what do you mean did she get quiet? Yeah, it was quiet in the room. What do you like? You know what I mean? I'm supposed to know how to pick up social cues. I don't even know what a social cue is. What's a social cue? You feel me? And no one talks to young men or even grown men and says, look at this behavior. We can't behave like this. No. We can't behave like this. And so that's why it's important that we talk about it and say, hey, look, whether or not, and again, this is aside from coming to it from a perspective of faith, right?
Yeah, this is just human function.
Yeah. Because, dude, I don't literally 90% of the women I know, 90% have at least one story of in their lifetime, them feeling that they had been pressured by a dude, and whether they want to flat out call it sexual assault or
it's vice versa too, though. It's vice versa too.
I mean, I get pressured because I'm sexy. My wife do that. She be like, give it to me.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, my bad.
That's legit.
But I'm just saying, because come on, Farron, you know this, man. Especially like in places like the military where it's an aggressive environment. Anyway. Sports where it's aggressive anyway.
For real. Like I said, it's both sides. It's both men aggressive to women and women aggressive to men. And so if we don't start having conversations with our younger generation and even the men today, so we can keep them from going to jail and getting into these kind of troubles and situations, it's got to be a legitimate, it's got to be a legitimate conversation, a straight up, and you can make the corrections. You can go back, you can go download some new information and practice the new stuff.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Like, listen, watch. I'm gonna say a dirty word. Sex. Ooh.
Yeah.
Sex. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy, man. And it's just like, because I see these.
It's been taboo though.
Yeah, because look,
when we learned about it as kids, it was taboo.
Like you said, yeah, you're not supposed to. And like I said, look, I don't know this gentleman. Never met this gentleman. I didn't even see the season he was on, right? Yeah, but I have to believe, like, he doesn't look like a bad guy. And I know the looks ain't whatever, but I'm sure inherently he's not a bad dude, right? He did something really insane. And now the rest of his life, I don't want to say is because I have to believe that there's hope for everybody, but it's definitely been altered. His life has definitely been altered. Like, this will follow him for the rest of his life. Right. Oh,
what they call? Are they called appetites? Give people power and money, and you see their appetites come out.
Yeah, and so, and I just think, and even, but going back to what I always say, but there's always a sense of culpability and responsibility as well from women, like young ladies. Just because you have the power to do so doesn't mean you need to either. There is more to you than what is between your legs.
Yes.
Your value doesn't lie in that. And trust me, it's a beautiful thing. And you will enjoy that in your life at the proper time. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that it's something that just like that's the entire definition and value of who you are. And a dude is going to be into you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm talking as a guy. A dude who's really into you, and you confirm this for me or not, Ferran, if what I'm saying is true. If a dude's really into you, whether he sees that or not, he's still going to be into you.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. But and the peer pressure of it for me was, I thought that's how you had to be accepted by the girl. So I feel that some people, I know I'm not the only one that thinks that. So there is also a level of, that's how they have to show that they like me, So there's different. You got to look in your own life for those empirical truths. But at the same time, we have to get better at educating and having these conversations about SCX with generations. You're talking about 10 years old because a 6 or 7 year old know more about sex than you think they know because they be paying attention.
Well, so it's on their phones, man.
That's what I'm saying. So like, we gotta catch it early somehow.
It's insane, and it's just being able to have conversations and just little. It doesn't have to be intense, and it doesn't have to be, like pull out charts and graphs, but just,
and no birds and bees either.
Yeah. Look. And I'll say that, look, I remember when my mother had the talk with me, right? She had the talk. And I remember I was so bothered, man, because she was like, we need to have a talk. I was like, Mom, gosh.
I already know.
Yeah, I already know. Well, how do you know? Health class. Right. And I remember I didn't. But the biggest thing that I took away that I still to this day, I'm going to be honest, I don't remember 9 because I was trying to just block her out. I don't remember 90% of the conversation, right? Because I just couldn't believe my mom was trying to have this conversation with me, right? Because my mom, in my head, my mom was never a girl. She was my mom, right? Like, my mom never had sex, right? Like, what does she know about sex? She never had sex. She's a mom,
you guys
right? And but this is the one thing that I took away from it. And I remember to this day, she said, look, no matter what you do, what you need to understand is you need to respect women, because you need to understand that however long or short your interaction is with them, you carry that for life, whether you realize it or not. And she was telling me, she got deep and talked about soul ties or whatever, but she was just saying, look, they carry that. And you don't know how it affects them for the rest. You go on about your jolly day and you're happy because you hooked up with the girl and you're whatever, but you have no clue what her father treated her like, what other men in her life treated her like, and you're coming along. Are you going to add to that long list of men who treated her like her body?
Yeah.
And this is what messed with me, right? And I didn't want to hear it at that age. But she was like, but when she said this, she was like, you can either treat her just as her body, meaning that's all you care about, right? Or you can treat her as her, as the fullness of a person that she is, right? Mm-hmm. And she said, I'm afraid because I know you too well. You're too much. And this I didn't understand. She was like, they're like your father. But she was like, that, you know, you're treating women like their body and not like the wealth of who they really are, right? Yeah. And she always said, like, I want you to remember, respect women, because she's like, right now, they're girls to you, right? But you have to remember that's somebody's baby girl. That's somebody's daughter. One day it's going to be someone's mother, right? And she said, and then she said this, and it killed me. She was like, because I was a little girl one time, and I was abused by men. And I was like, wait, what? You know, and she said, and it affected pretty much every relationship until, you know, she said, until I got my freedom in God and God was able to heal me from those things. Of course. Right. But she was like, until that happened, until God was able to heal me from that, it affected every other, not only every relationship I had with a man, but it affected how I looked at the girl who looked at me in the mirror every single day. Because I thought that's all I had to offer the world.
That's where the work is at, man.
You know, and so I didn't mean to get really deep on everybody.
Yeah, it's a Revolution Radio show, KCAA Radio.
You know, but look, let's keep it 100, man. We don't never have these conversations. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was just in the car talking with some young men, and we were having some conversations. And so my thing was, I just wanted them to know, look, you can literally talk to me about anything. There's nothing that will freak me out. There's nothing that I'll be like, oh my God, this is too much for my ears. You know, I just wanted them to know as young men, like, look, this specific, like, I'm your uncle. I love you. You know what I mean? And you can literally come to me and nothing is going to shock me. I'm not going to flip out. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? But I want you to know that I'm a safe place for you to come get honest information, because that's what I never got. I didn't get honest information from the older men in my life. I got a bunch of just crap that led to a lot of dysfunction that took me years to heal from to, you know, to get better from, you know what I mean? I lost a lot of years in dysfunction.
And you got to look at, you know, when I say consequences, having a baby at a young age, catching a disease at a young age.
Oh, can I speak on that real quick?
Okay, so go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't mean it. I apologize.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because let's be real. There's a lot of people having babies, which means there's a lot of people not strapping up. Okay, so here's real numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and I found this to be true because of one thing. Okay, 1 in 3 people, 3. That's not a lot. So if there's me, you, and one other dude, one of y'all got something. Right?
It must be him. It must be him.
What he
ain't here.
And here's how I discovered, because I remember my mom would tell me, because she taught sex ed and a bunch of different stuff, right? And so she would tell me, you know, if you put you and your friends, she's all, it's probably all 3 of you guys because you're all nasty, right? But she was like, I'm promising you, one of you has something, because these are right. And I'd be like, get out of here, right? So I remember when I was young, I caught a little something. I was 15 years old, right? You know what I mean? I'm grown, so I can talk about it now, right? I can talk about it. It's 15 years old. Caught something, said, ooh, what's this? This, woo! Had to go to the free clinic by myself. Got there, the cutest nurse, the most amazingly gorgeous nurse. And then I couldn't holler at her, though, because she knew why I was there, because I had some situations. So I couldn't be like, hey, shorty, hey, check this out. Once I get this shot, though, you know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. And then so fast forward, I'm an adult sitting around talking with a group of men. We're all talking, you know, joking. So I remember when we were teens and blah, blah, blah. And we were just laughing about the stuff. And then one of my boys goes, yeah, man, when I was 14, he was like, yo, I got crabs. Then another, he was like, you too? And then every single dude in the circle at some point caught something. And we looked at each other like, wait, we didn't ever tell each other when we was young, right? And so, so it just made go like, ooh, this stuff is every single one of us had at least one incident. One dude is real nasty. He just, I think he still got something. But but my point is that there's real stuff out there. Again, you ain't got to listen to the sin talk. You ain't got to listen to forget Jesus. Jesus can stay over there on Christmas and Easter. You ain't got to even talk to Jesus. Okay, we ain't even talk about him.
Nope.
There's some real stuff going on. Some real, you know, it's some real things out there that is just, and then, you know, herpes is forever. Sorry,
Miss Jackson.
You know, and like I found out there's like actual like dating apps for people with herpes, like because you know, so that way they can freely herp around.
That must be Bobby Brown remix.
Anyways, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just
so sex. But the other one I wanted to say is your legacy.
Boom. Oh,
like my guy here. Like, come on, American Idol. People dream to get on that show.
Mm-hmm.
You get noticed. You get a little fame.
Mm-hmm.
You got a little legacy building.
Right.
And then this happens.
Yeah. And I mean,
tainted for the rest of his life.
Families, you know, different things. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't imagine looking into baby A, aside from wifey, but I mean looking into baby A's eyes and having to explain to him, this is why I don't live here no more. How do you explain that? Like, listen, I was
so what happened was
I can't, like, that stuff haunts me. Like I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't, like, you know what I'm saying? And so, and it's like I said, it's about living life and life more abundantly, the best quality of life possible, you know. And so, you know, we had this conversation.
Protecting your memories, yo. Your memories. How valuable your subconscious mind is.
Man, it's crazy, man. And so I just, like I said, I saw that story, man, and I just felt I needed to touch on it because I know it's one story in a gazillion.
Oh, yeah.
And we know of that one because he was on American Idol. Right. But even like I know a young man that I grew up with who I mentored for a while. Right. When we were younger, I mentored him and great. I mean, and the only memories I have of him, right, are from that time period. So they're good memories. Right. Like this was a good young man, came from a good family. Right. And so those, you know, he ended up as he got older, like I saw him get older, get married, have children. Was working with youth, right? He ended up becoming a youth pastor. He worked with youth. He broke, I guess you could say, broke a cycle in his, you know, because he came from a family where there was a lot of gang and drug, drug abuse, gang. And so his father was the first to like change his life around. His father became a pastor. But he was able to, you seal it when you get that second generation, right? So he was able to, like, change his life. And then, but because we don't talk about things, right? We all have these little hidden things and these, you know what I mean? And we never, and I can say personally, I was his mentor and we never discussed it. Right? Because not supposed to talk about sex. No. We talk about being men and whatever that means and blah. Right. And I wasn't equipped at the time. I didn't know, I was a lot younger. So long story short, this young man ended up having an affair with a young lady in the youth who was underage. And he ended up going to prison for it. Right. I think he did close to 10 years. And so obviously his wife, his children, it affected his parents, and they didn't do nothing wrong. You know what I mean? But they're the parents of this guy who became a predator in the eyes of the community, right? Because obviously it goes into the news and local youth pastor, and you know what I mean? Like what you're saying in terms of legacy, right? And even though the young lady was, and I'm not putting it on her, I'm not blaming her, but she was fast, like she was known to be active, and and she was looked more than her age and acted more than her age and was known to be around a lot or whatever. Right. that still it tainted the rest of his life. Like I said, his family, it affected all of that. And even for those of us who knew him growing up, it's difficult because there's the pressure of, do you still have a relationship with him? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's all these little nuances of like, because I don't know that guy, right? Like, I don't know the predator, right? I don't know the guy
that's such a harsh word, though.
No, I get you. That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what his identity, he went from being an exemplary example of what you could be, right? Yeah. He went from that to being a sexual predator. And so it was like, I remember there was a couple of times he called from prison, right? And it was, God, I gotta hurry because time's, but it was, I'm gonna be honest, I had a battle within myself because I wanted to still encourage him, because the memory I had was of this amazing young man that I had a piece in his life, and I helped mentor him when he was, really young, right? And so I want to encourage you, but then on the other hand, I'm like, look, man, you can't be touching up on these little girls, homie. Like, what's, you know what I mean? Like, it was
past that point already. So
yeah, but I'm just being honest. Like, I had this battle in myself. Like, how do I address this? Because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the predator. The dude I know is this kid that I got love for, man. That I really like.
Yeah. So what I've learned is it's challenging, but to be able to listen without judgment, because that's probably what he needed from you. If you was to give him anything, is how do you not judge based off of that situation and just be like, man, like, what's going on, bro? Like, where did that come from? Like, and just let him talk, because he's already embarrassed. I mean, he's already in the consequence by now, so the judgment is psh. But like you said, you as a mentor, like, how do you address that, or how do you even be with that? I think, not that I think, but the ability to listen to people without judgment takes a lot of practice, man.
Yeah. And and like I said, because I really believe, man, that I have to believe this, that there's hope for everybody, right? Like, that's really the faith that I hold on to, that there's hope for everybody. But I know that society doesn't feel that way.
Oh, society is corrupted. And like I said, I don't use the word, it's not right or wrong. Society is not right or wrong or good or bad. It's just corrupted. We have a lot of corrupted information, and these are the things that make the news, the corrupted stuff. And how do we catch that, or start to clean that up in our society, in our own culture, in our own homes, with our children, and our nephews and nieces and cousins, is you got to have that tough conversation. It's going to take tough. Matter of fact, that's what Dr. Miles said today in that lesson I listened to. He said, we need leaders that can have tough conversations.
Yeah, man. And that's what I'm learning. And like I said, that's where I try as much as possible now to have those conversations that no one else wants to have.
Yeah.
Because I wish someone would have had them with me. Right. I wish someone would have pulled me and my crew aside and say, hey guys, look, I get it. I've been young. You know what I mean? I understand what it is, but let me explain to you that one moment can change the entire trajectory of your life. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this in a preachy way. I'm not saying this in a way to like, let me tell you how to live your life and how to, I'm just saying, because I genuinely care about you. The entire world will throw you away, will throw you in the garbage because of one thing that you do, right? These are facts. And we can avoid it. That's the thing, is that it's avoidable.
But let's flip it, right? Let's end it on this note. Being able to have those tough conversations with our generation today and tomorrow is that it builds the character, it builds morals, it builds values, it builds integrity. So those tough conversations are required so that when the youth grows up, they have a sense of core values, not just what's right and wrong, but how it impacts not just you and your family. If you do this, this impacts you and your family, but not that, but your cousins and your cousins' friends and your mama's friends get impacted because everybody know you. Like and so the character building is something that I see is really important. And I had my parents, and I had stepfathers, but these wasn't the conversations that we was having.
Yeah. And I think more so you and me talk about this all the time, but on men, well, and I think women should really be, mentoring women as well. But I think men, we need to reach out to these young men and be aggressive, the same as aggressive as the streets is being, so to speak, right? The streets, as aggressive as culture and society is being, we need to be that much more aggressive about chasing after these young men and saying, hey, I care too much to just leave you alone. I gotta bother you. I gotta bug you. I gotta be there. Even if you're not paying attention, I gotta just at least keep tapping your shoulder going, hey, because that's how aggressive, quote unquote, the culture is, right? Yeah, that's how aggressive the culture is, constantly in their face. You're competing with 24/7 inundation of, and I'll say this last thing because we're about to close. I had a young man send me some music, right? Because I got a lot of people sending me music right now. And this young man was like, yo, check this out. I'm trying to do music or whatever, right? And he sent me some music and it was fire. Like, it was dope. Like, it was the track was hot. His flow was amazing. Like, it was amazing. But the content, because he was talking about hoes and what he was doing to them and how he was doing them and that, Oh, and so I'm actually back because we have a scheduled, we're going to talk or whatever, right? But I got to break it down to him like, look, brother, I love you. I think you're amazing. But the reason why I can't support you on this is because you're literally speaking to death, right? Like, you are so gifted. You can literally, and I get what's out there. I understand it. You know what I mean? I understand it. But I'm just telling you, there's more to you than this.
Yeah.
Right? There's more to, even just from a regular, even just an entertainment standpoint, what makes you different? You don't even stand out. You feel me? Like, you don't even, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what they see on social media. That's what they see that gets the money and the cars and the girls and the jewelry and the
but goes back to your conversation, but it's not real.
It's not real. Yeah.
It's not real. Like, cars are rented. Jewelry is, you feel me? Like,
the jewelry is not gold and platinum and rose gold.
It's rented or borrowed or whatever. Like, it's not real. And I just want to see, like, more than ever, man, I'm just really in a place where I want to see a generation impacted with, I'm going to be real specific, but I'm going to be general. Obviously with the love of God and what God has for them, that's a given. But with something more than what they seeing for themselves. You have to believe more than just the garbage that you're feeding on your YouTube, your Apple Music, your Spotify, you know what I mean? Because if that is all you're meditating on, then that's what your world will become, right?
Well, that's what goes in your heart.
So we got a minute and a half. So you got something to say before we out?
No, I'm good. Like I said, these are some of the talks. Like I said, we got to figure out how we can get into the community where we are in the Inland Empire.
Well, look, we're going to be doing some stuff for sure. I want to plan, I'm going to say this, we're going to plan some little like young men's things. And, so be paying attention, because if you got some young men out there, if you got some sons and nephews or cousins or whatever, we're going to for sure be doing some things.
We ain't talking about tying no ties either.
Yeah, and I don't wear ties. I don't even believe in ties. I don't even care. No, we're gonna talk about some real. You know what I mean? So I know I got some men that are down. I know Ferran got some men that are down to come and pardon young men. So we're gonna put that together. I guarantee you we're gonna do something. But this is the Revolution Radio Show, where what we want to do is revolutionize your mind, revolutionize your spirit, revolutionize your soul, and so we're gonna always challenge you. So as always, on behalf of my man Ferran, the statesman, I am your boy J Love, aka Uncle Jiggy. This is the Revolution Radio Show, reminding you, as always, reach for your best, reach for success, but most of all, reach for God, because God is love and love is everything. We out, man. See you tomorrow.
Peace.
Oh my.